All right, let's get this thing started. Here I am with a wide-nosed fruit bat, I think. And yeah, I'm going to try and draw this guy hanging upside down. I don't know what else he's doing, but here I go. I haven't drawn anything upside down in a while. That's a drawing exercise. Never done many drawing exercises like that, but you're supposed to draw it upside down to help your eye sort of remove the features of like the face and stuff, but this guy kind of looks weird enough to the point where I don't think it would really matter because his nose is not something I would fall into a habit of drawing. But yeah. So this might be the first video on the channel, which I'm pretty excited about. Let me draw from here. Get his wing. And then for those of you wondering, I'm drawing this in Krita. Wanted to change some things in Krita. I'm not sure because it's open source, all the API is open. I'm a little sick, but this knight is not sick in a different way. Rad. I kind of wanted to explain everything about the background and the clouds and the mountains behind me, but let's not. I'll leave it a little mystery. But anyway, I was on, what is it, Magma? It's like a collaborative drawing platform the other day. And I definitely want to add one small feature from Magma to Krita that I really enjoyed and thought was neat. But yeah, drawing this bat, and I really like bats. Bats I think are really cool. If we just had more fruit bats like this, I don't think the idea of like bats as being rodents with wings would have taken off as much because these guys are just too cute. So here I am, and block in some of the color. Alright, that's not a bad sketch to start. Let me block in some very dark green. Yeah, that's full of color. There we go. But go ahead and add in, well, let me select in some of this light color. Let me add just like a base color really quick by selecting all this. There. Now we just gotta drop in, I don't know, some light, some tan, some light, yeah, good enough. Control Shift A. I probably should add just a little bit of airbrushing to the outside of this to make it not as rough, because some of this is for this stuff up here is going to be a little bit more static, but that's fine. Now that that's loosened up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and make a, what's the word? Mask? Yes, mask. I'm going to make a group first, and then make this a mask on top of it, and then I'll start, oops, what the heck did I just do? Oh, there we go. I think I accidentally deleted stuff. Alright, let's see if that's it. So let me shift the hue towards like a more reddish. That should be going now. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty orange. Some orange there, and then some darker brown up here on top. And then it looks like there's some in the ear. And then I'm gonna go ahead and block in some of this like almost pure black. And then I'll end up putting some of the pink on top of it. Yeah. I actually went to Pinnacles National Park recently. I jokingly asked my friend, I was like, are we going to be able to see the bats? Because they have bats in the brochure and everything. And the park ranger responded and he was like, no, basically, long story short. And that's because they don't want to have the bats around humans a lot, which I guess makes sense because they'd be disturbed if they were hibernating and then a bunch of humans went to go talk trash and goof off in their caves while they're sleeping. But anyway, moving on to the eyes. I'm just going to use a brush because I think it's easier for some of these. At that, I'll add a little highlight and then I'll add a little black around the edge of the eye. There, is that scary enough? Yeah, I think so. Okay, and then on top of all that, let's make this the black layer. Yeah. I'll go ahead and add a bunch of dark brown / black now on top of everything. I think it's turned out pretty good. My computer is running a lot right now, so it's doing better than I thought. I was originally going to do this in MS Paint, but looks like this is good enough and is working. Looks like his skull has a little indent here. That's where the center of this bat's head is. Let me go ahead and desaturate it, make it a little darker. So it's this. There we go. Now it looks like I sort of made a mistake. Back to the sketch. I believe the ear comes out all the way over here. They have pretty big ears. Let me go ahead and lightly erase some of this. Yeah, there we go. They got pretty big ears, so I'll go back in the color here and add in some light colors. There we are. Yeah, there. It's not as smooth as I would have liked, but that's fine. Add in some light color here, and then finally, what is it? It looks like some streaks or something. Yeah, some streaks there. Cool. Alright. And then I'll go in at the, actually I'll just do that, some of that now. I'll add some of the streaks on the bottom side of the body here. And I'll go ahead and be bold, and I'll do this over the top of it so it's not on a mask. That way we get that nice texture. And I'll make it go all the way across as well. Nice. Now it's coming together. Now it's coming together. Let's do some highlights now already. The highlights seem to be both smooth but also kind of rough at some of these points. So add the layers on top of here. And then finally, well, not finally, we still got a little bit to go. I'm gonna add, jumping around a lot here, but I'm gonna add some more color in to here, because that color is actually pretty saturated. A lot of the times when I'm drawing nature things, it's really not that saturated, and I always have to go back and undo it, because usually it's never like, it's never that that good, but sometimes it's a lot more saturated than you would think. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in some of that. There. Undo the boldness of it just a little bit. Cool. That'll do for now. And then some pink. Adding in some weird fleshy color here on top. There, and this color is pretty apparent. Should probably use a bigger brush for this. So I'm just use a marker actually. This. The skin seems pretty smooth, so it seems fine. Here we go. There we are. I think that's good. I think that's fine. And then there's some darker, weird, fleshy colors too, mixed in there. I have always thought that the weird mixture of bats with their like skin over their wings, but it's not quite skin, but it sort of is, was always really weird. But that's what we love about them, right folks? There, I'll just mix in some weird shapes. Alright, cool. I think finishing touches, I'll go ahead and do some actual black in the background and make it pop a little bit more. The black seems to be, honestly, the black seems to be mixed in with these. Oops, that's not supposed to be an erase. We'll color that back in. This black seems to be mixed in with these green shapes, so perhaps I should undo the other green, but I think it's fine. I'll just keep it as a background and just have some of the parts be like an actual black. It's okay for there to be gaps and stuff too, like that. Some more black. And then some dark green. Let's go. This is a leaf that goes in the shadow. Let's see if it's actually, if it reads as that, or if it just reads as like a weird mosaic behind. A weird mosaic would be fine though. Need more weird mosaics. Like that. Yeah. And some green over the top. And finally, some really bright green right here, randomly. Yeah, again, the shadow cuts off right there. I'll add, one more thing. I'll add in a black smoothing airbrush here in the back, like how it is in the picture. Yeah, that looks good. And you know what? I'll overdo the highlights. I can do that. I can do whatever I want. I'll overdo the highlights in here. I'm gonna zoom in and add some really bright highlights in here with some hard round brushes. Specifically around the ears. There. And some individual brush strokes. Those don't look realistic, but I think that's fine. Okay, there we go. There's our fruit bat video number 1 from Cool Night Bro drawing on a medieval tablet. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.